Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jonathan Pearson. I'm the Director of Parking Transportation at the University of Pittsburgh. I want to thank everybody for being on the call this afternoon. We've got a great program that we want to announce, and we're hoping to spur a lot of interest coming off this call, not only from the people that are on the call now, but for anyone that you may talk to after the call is over. As everyone knows, the pandemic changed a lot of things here on campus. In returning to what some people are calling the new normal, we want to give people as many options as they can when it comes to campus. Everyone knows that we've had reduced parking across campus, which still exists. And we also have returned to the normal rates at our key locations of Soldiers and Sailors and the OC lot up on Aliquippa. As always, we're still allow staff and faculty and students to ride for free with their PIT ID on all of the Port Authority modes of transportation. Understanding that, Port Authority isn't always an option for everyone. And I'm assuming a lot of the people on this call, Port Authority just isn't an option based off where you live geographically or the amount of time that it may take you to get to campus and from campus with transferring and things of that nature. So we're here to roll out our new partnership with Commute with Enterprise. And we've also had a previous partnership here with Commute Info. And this is really to expand that offering. Everyone has seen the 12 and 15 passenger vans that are part of our current Vanpool program right now. Expanding Commute with Enterprise gives us the option of a smaller van or SUV that will basically be brand new and include a lot of features for you on your way to and from campus. Offers tremendous flexibility in the options you look at, and overall can be a substantial cost savings in fuel, time, energy, and wear and tear on your personal vehicle. So at this time, I'm going to hand it over to William with Commute with Enterprise. Anyone's free to type in questions in the chat. If there seems to be a pressing question, we will answer it near the end of the call. And we will answer all the questions that are presented via email after the call and post answers to the more popular questions on our commuting webpage under frequently asked questions. So William, I'll let you take it from here.
Sure. Thanks so much for that introduction, Jonathan. It's been a long time since we got to this point, but we're very excited to be here. Clearly, we've had a few Vanpools in operation years past, but nothing too formal. So before I really get started, I just want to thank again Jonathan, Corey, Rachel, and Kevin for helping us get to this point. While this presentation is specific to the University of Pittsburgh, I did want to highlight the fact that this program is not just a benefit for the University of Pittsburgh. If you had neighbors or live nearby anyone that happened to commute to UPMC, CMU, the VA, or any employers downtown, they are actually also able to partake in these Vanpools. So as I go through this presentation, keep in mind those that you may be living near or aware of that you're friends with that commute to downtown as well. Because again, they're also able to take advantage of this benefit and will really help make this a success. So before we dive into the functionality of the program, I just wanted to give a brief overview of Commute with Enterprise, the business line as a whole. So the program actually started about 40 years ago. It started out in California to really help combat the traffic congestion, as well as rising gas prices and even the gas shortage. As Jonathan mentioned, we're kind of experiencing the same thing here now that we have rising gas prices. So as you mentioned, it's a great way to help combat those costs and provide extra savings in that end of things. It's really grown over the years. We now have over 11,000 Vanpools in operation, operating in 45 different states. In addition to providing cost savings, decreasing the wear and tear in your own vehicle, as well as helping manage the stress of the commute itself, this program does a great job reducing the stress on our roadways. This program has helped reduce 1.4 billion pounds or 1.4 billion commuter miles. From an environmental impact, has helped in the reduction of 1.1 billion carbon emissions each and every year. So it's really no secret how big of a role that the commute plays for when it comes to applying for jobs, as well as for those that are at a job. For prospective employees, commuting is the second most important factor when applying for a job. So by providing a program like this, or providing different commute solutions, you're not only helping your existing workforce, but you really help separate your company from those around you that are looking to recruit the same talent pool as you are. Very similar to the prospective employees, the commute is the second most important factor in the job satisfaction. So if you figure you have a very long commute, that tends to be very stressful, that stress builds up over time and will likely lead to that individual looking to find a different job. So a great way in combating that, again, is providing a solution like this that helps to improve that aspect of the job. So it's great to see the university put forth this effort alongside Commute Info and SPC to offer a program like this that not only combats parking congestion, but it also improves the environment, while also helping employees save time, money, stress of having to commute on their own each and every day. Before I really dive into the actual functionality of the program, I wanted to at least highlight and share some information about our great partners at SPC and commuteinfo.org. They've been a huge proponent in the Pittsburgh area for years now, and have been able to offer many solutions to help make commuting easier and more affordable for all. Commute Info is a program housed within the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission, also referred to as the Region's Metropolitan Planning Organization. The region that SPC Commute Info cover is shown here in the blue area up on the left-hand side. Commute Info is a customer-focused resource center, meaning for those who register the Commute Info, their commuting option is specific to their starting and ending point for modes such as public transportation, vanpooling, carpooling, biking, and walking. So their goal at Commute Info are for those who live, work, or attend college or training school on the 10-county region to choose ride sharing instead of driving alone. And again, they promote all the modes of commuting, whether it be public transportation, vanpooling, carpooling, biking, or walking. Commute Info partners with individuals and employers across 10 counties, as I've mentioned. Commute Info, our commute option report is free of charge for each registered participant. Commute Info also works with employers and will help technical assistants generate heat maps, customized reporting, ride matching software, on-site workshops, lunch and learns, and many more options. The registration could not be quicker or more easy. They collect minimal information such as your name, home address, work address, hours of commuting, phone number, and email addresses. They house this information within their organization, and your information is not sold or shared to anyone. So Commute Info is connecting people with effective commuting options. They would love for you to start saving today, as would we. In addition, Commute Info also promotes carpooling and will populate on their commuting option report if there are any other carpools heading in the same direction at the same time. So if you are currently in a carpool and wanted to help find maybe other riders or other situations in which that option could benefit you, SPC and commuteinfo.org is a great solution for that. One thing to keep in mind is that these carpools are using their own private vehicles and they receive no subsidy, which I will get into a little bit later. For those individuals who are already carpooling, please have you register with Commute Info program, and they will be eligible for the Emergency Ride Home program and a complimentary emergency roadside kit. So getting into how the program within Commute with Enterprise Vanpool program works. The Commute with Enterprise program is incredibly flexible in terms of its functionality. We work with and connect anywhere between 5 and 15 employees together who share similar commute corridors and/or who live nearby one another. So once a group is formed, they're able to select a vehicle that works best for the size of their group and their needs. Being backed by Enterprise enables us to offer a wide variety of vehicles. So for groups between 5 and 7 passengers, we offer 7-passenger minivans or 7-passenger 4-wheel drive or all-wheel drive SUVs. Those 4-wheel drive and all-wheel drive SUVs make great options for the months where the weather can be inclement, and we're able to very easily switch you out into whatever vehicle works best for your needs. For the larger groups, we offer 12 or 15 passenger vans. Once a van is formed, the riders choose a convenient pickup or meeting location. We'll typically see mall parking lots, Walmart parking lots, and park and rides being useful meeting locations for groups. We also have some groups where the driver of the vehicle will take the vehicle home each day, and we'll pick each rider up on their way to the workplace and drop them off on their way home from the workplace. They also have the option of picking those individuals up from a central meeting location as well. Another great perk of this program is that the employees actually act as the drivers, can take turns driving. This gives drivers who are typically used to driving themselves each and every day a break from the stresses of having to do so, and gives them the opportunity to sit back, relax, or even catch up on their sleep or on their commute. All in all, this not only provides them with a way to work, but puts them in a position where they're better rested and in a state to be more productive for when they arrive. So at the end of the day, every employee enjoys the benefits of this program, from the relaxed and flexible environment to the comfortability of a brand new and spacious vehicle, and most importantly, the cost savings associated with it. Included in our Vanpool program is quite a bit. So being backed by Enterprise, we're able to provide all new Vanpools. Typically our fleet, and right now our fleet is comprised of 2022 makes and models. We tend to cycle those out every 6 to 12 months so that you remain in a brand new, very nice, safe vehicle. The program works on a month-to-month basis. So in the event that you elect to try this program out, it's not as if that you're locking yourself into something for a year or anything long-term. Gives you plenty of flexibility to try the program out and see the benefits that it can provide. Included in that month-to-month lease is the 24/7 roadside assistance. All the preventative maintenance is included in the cost, as is comprehensive physical and liability insurance. So in the event that an accident were to happen, Enterprise takes full responsibility of those damages. There's no deductible attached to the driver or anyone involved. And the liability insurance is actually $1 million worth of liability coverage that would go to cover any third parties that were involved in the accident. So it gives you the peace of mind that when you're commuting, you're not exposing yourself to your own insurance or anything of that nature. We're, again, covering any damages or any losses associated with any accidents. In addition, we also provide a guaranteed ride home program. So if you, one of the individuals on your Vanpool had to leave work due to an emergency, we'll rely on one of our local rental car branches to help deliver a free 24-hour rental to that individual so they're able to get to and from the emergency. In the event that it's very time sensitive and it's easier for that individual to take an Uber, Lyft, or even a taxi ride, we'll reimburse them for that cost. And finally, one of the other added benefits, which isn't mentioned on this list, is the fact that any driver, any approved driver on the Vanpool can actually utilize our vehicle up to 200 free personal miles each and every month. So if you have to take your kids to daycare, on your way to work, or pick them up on your way home, drop them off at school, if you wanted to use the vehicle to run to church, pick up groceries or what have you, you're able to use our vehicle to do so. And all of these benefits will continue to carry over to make that a very useful process. So in addition to the many benefits that's already included in our Vanpool program, our partnership with SPC and Community Info really couldn't emphasize that and expand upon it more. They've taken it a step further and really helped make this program even better than what it tends to be, and make it even more affordable. So in addition to our guaranteed ride home program, they also offer one of their own, which increases the amount of rides and reimbursements that are available to each participant in the event that they need multiple ones throughout the year. Additionally, they also offer a roadside assistance kit, so that if anything were to happen on their way to and from the work, they'll have the basic tools to help take care of whatever the issues may be, on top of the kits that typically come equipped with the vehicles that we provide. Most importantly, SPC and Community Info provide 3 incredible subsidies that greatly help to reduce the cost of our Vanpool program. As you can see, for 12 and 15 passenger vans, they're offering a $600 per vehicle per month subsidy. For 7 passenger minivans, it's $300 per vehicle per month. And then 7 passenger SUVs, it's $200 per vehicle per month. So this next slide gives you an idea of what the monthly cost is for each one of our vehicle classes. Keep in mind these prices under the monthly costs are based off of a 2,000 mile round trip or monthly total for miles within a given month. So what I've done is I've broken down the monthly costs, subtracted the SBC commute info subsidy for each individual size class, and provided an actual monthly cost. One thing to note, it doesn't include gas. Given the fact that there's so many different variables and commutes associated with this, I figured that based on your particular commute, you could add that cost in there and further break it down. But most importantly, as you can see from a cost per employee per month, it's incredibly affordable, especially when you compare that to the amount of money you're spending in gas, and additionally, the amount of wear and tear you're putting on your own vehicle. So those savings compile over time. And as you can see, again, it's a great way to help offset those costs, expenses that you may be incurring on your commute into work, and having an option that's not only more affordable, a little bit more comfortable, but also giving you the opportunity to kind of relax and catch up on whatever you may need to on your way to and from the workplace. This slide really presents you with an idea of the impact this program can have in a multitude of ways. This slide showcases a workforce of 8,000 employees and the results the program would have in the event 20% of the workforce had a commute of 20 miles or more, and in the event that 50% of those employees who have that long of a commute opted to become a Vanpooler, which is how we arrive at that 800 Vanpooler number. So the number of potential vans is based off there being an average of 9 riders per Vanpool, which is traditionally what we see across the board. The right-hand column is really what we should be focusing on, though, when you factor in the multiple ways this program can help benefit the university and those taking advantage of this program. Out of 89 Vanpools, that can help reduce 711 parking spaces, and as well as reduce 16 million miles, the reduction of 12 million CO2 carbon emissions, and then the amount of savings that are associated with that as well. This slide actually showcases a real life example of not only the type of reporting we provide, but a look into the impact that one actual van is having. This van travels on average about 44 miles round trip each month, round trip per day each month. While it's not at full capacity, it's still able to save employers a ton of money. Reduce parking congestion by 8 spots has a huge impact on the amount of commuter miles it's reducing, as well as the amount of CO2 emissions it's reducing. With each additional Vanpooler that would opt to join this Vanpool would have an even bigger impact. And when you consider the fact that the more Vanpools we have, obviously that impact will continue to increase. The other thing to note is this is only data that's been compiled through 2 quarters. It's interesting to see it's already having quite the impact so far. And we tend to review these numbers on a quarterly basis. So this is a type of reporting we're able to provide just so each individual, the impact each individual van's having, as well as the program as a whole is having for the university. Finally, this slide really represents a further breakdown of the former slide, but one that is specific to the employees on the van and how they're benefiting. This is great information to share with your employee base, as it really paints a picture of how much they're saving, how many hours they're getting back into their lives, and the amount of miles they're keeping off their own personal vehicles, which is increasing longevity of their vehicles, as well as leading to additional savings. Eric and I are very happy to sit down on a quarterly basis to review these numbers to help enforce the benefits this program is having for each rider, or if it's easier, we're happy to share this information via email or in whatever fashion you see fit. At this point, I hope you've enjoyed the presentation, have a great sense of how this program can really help improve your livelihood from a cost savings perspective, from the stress and wear and tear of your own vehicle. Here's our contact information. But at this point in time, I'm actually going to turn it over. We're very lucky to have one of our own existing Vanpoolers, Vanpool coordinators and drivers, Lynn, on with us, who's going to share a little bit about her experience that she's had over the many years she's been a participant in this program.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lynn Welshons, and I started working in Oakland back in the early 90s. And I was on a list at that time to get on a van, and was waiting and waiting. And in 3 months working at Children's Hospital, I had put like over 10,000 miles on my car. So it was a blessing that I was able to get on this van. When you first get on, you're sort of apprehensive. You know, what if I have an emergency? How am I going to get home? I don't have the freedom that, you know, to come and go as I please, and my kids have ball games or whatever. But once I got on the van and settled in and realized that, you know, there was always a way around it, the emergency ride home, just even somebody working in Oakland that lived in my area, you know, could bum a ride with them on the way home or to work or whatever. But as I said, once I started van pulling, I would do anything not to drive my car into the city and to have to find parking and, you know, as Bill said, pay for wear and tear, tires. I mean, I had already gone through like 2 sets of tires in like a year and a half, and it was just killing me cost wise. So it's been a great program. Everyone is usually everybody gets along. Sometimes you have those situations, but they're easily worked out. My particular van, I was the driver. I haven't been on the van since I've been working from home, but I'm hoping to get back. We sometimes share the driving. If the driver is on vacation, the primary driver, somebody can act as a backup. We usually have 2 or 3 people that are backup drivers. And our van in particular has really never missed a time going to work, even in the winter. Even the 15-passenger van is very good in the snow. They commute info and enterprise make sure that, like, because I travel from Latrobe into Oakland, that we have very good winter tires. We request like heavy duty wipers and everything that you could possibly want. They have been able to provide for us. And in addition, the friendships that I've made over the years have been incredible. Probably close to 15 years now, I've been friends with a lot of the folks that I've met on the van, who otherwise our paths probably would have never crossed. So I'm open to questions if anyone has anything.
Doesn't sound like it, Lynn. This is Jonathan again. Thank you, Lynn, for being on the call. As everyone can tell, you know, that's a personal experience from Lynn. This isn't, you know, just us trying to push a program on you. There's some real benefits, and Lynn's a person that's actually seen those benefits firsthand. And like she said, you know, she wouldn't want to get in a personal vehicle again to come back and forth to campus, just based off the personal experiences and the benefits, both tangible and intangible, from being a part of a Vanpool. So at this time, we'll turn it over to Corey Robinson, who is our mobility specialist here on campus, that can introduce herself and give you some ideas on the next steps going forward. And then if there seems to be any outstanding common questions, we will answer those. And then, like I said before, answer all the questions and send out the answers via email to everyone participating today. So go ahead, Corey.
Thanks, Jonathan. Okay, so I'm Corey Robinson. I am the mobility specialist for the University of Pittsburgh in the Parking and Transportation and Services Department. And I just wanted to give a shout out and thanks to Eric and Bill for coming and giving this presentation to talk about, you know, this Vanpool program that we're now offering, this expanded Vanpool program. And then also thank everybody for, you know, all the participants for coming and listening. And we are recording this, so it will be available. I'm not sure exactly where yet, but we can send out that information to all of the people who registered. And as, you know, Jonathan talked about at the beginning, and, you know, what Bill kind of covered, is that our goal is to really offer, flexible, convenient options for commuting into the Oakland area and even to downtown, for not only our employees at the university, but future employees and, some of our, very close organizations here in Oakland, like UPMC and the Veterans Hospital and CMU. And yeah, I do see that we have a few questions, and I think Lynn might be the best person to answer some of them. Lynn, there's one in particular. Can you see the
Actually,
questions, Lynn?
Yeah, do you want me to just start from the top?
Yeah, any of the ones that you think you could answer or speak to would be great.
Okay. So the question is, if not enough people from an area sign up, are the remainder charged a higher cost? The quick answer is yes. So, for example, our van was a 15 passenger van. And we got to the point where we had some people move away, retire, whatever. They had left the van for whatever reason. So that does make your cost go up because you're dividing the amount of the monthly lease for the van and, all the cost that goes with it amongst the number of riders you have. So in general, for every rider that you're able to gain, the cost typically comes down about $10, per person. So that is a factor. So you want to try to, keep your riders. We usually try to say or ask our riders to give a 30-day notice. I mean, that's not in writing, but just a heads up, like, hey, I'm going to be leaving the van. So, Commute Info and Enterprise have time to help us recruit someone else to try to keep your costs down. The next question is, what if you only need a ride 1 day a week? That's perfectly fine. You can ride 1 day a week. We have found that as a rule of thumb, it typically, if you are riding 2 days or less a week, it is better to just pay by the day. And each van is going to be different on what they charge for a round trip. Being that, we were one of the vans with the longest distance, so we would charge $10 round trip. So if, you rode 1 day a week, you're just paying $10, or 2 days a week, you're paying $20. But generally, if you're riding 3 or more days, it's actually cheaper just to pay by the month. So to sign up as a full-time rider and just pay the monthly fee. Next question is, what is the average commuting time for those who participate in the program? This person lives about 40 minutes drive from campus. How many participants in the program are around this commuting time? That I really can't answer. That might be a better question for Eric and or Bill, or even Commute Info, since they have a log of where people are coming from or who has signed up. Generally, coming from Latrobe into Oakland during rush hour, our commute is about 1 hour and 15 minutes. That changes daily due to traffic, or if there's a federal holiday and the folks downtown aren't going in, then we can zip in and out. We can be back to Latrobe in about 1 hour, maybe less. It just depends, but they should be able to answer your question about what other vans are about 40 minutes from campus and how many people.
And real quick, this obviously the farther away, probably the more interest there will be, but this is really we do not have a limit on whether you're 5 miles or 55 miles from campus. This is really to give everyone that extra option on what's really best for you coming to and from campus.
Another question, what happens if the driver calls off sick or they are told to work from home that day due to inclement weather, et cetera? As I mentioned earlier, you do want to have some backup drivers. So in the event that, someone has to call off or is on vacation or doesn't go in due to weather, you do have a backup driver. And as I said, we have never had our van not go into the city unless the chancellor has, closed the university or whatever. Or if we have deemed that, we just don't think it's safe to go in. We do realize that, there are people that work with patients, nurses, whatever, and they have to get there. In that case, you are welcome to take your own vehicle, and we have allowed them to use the hang tag in the van since it's not going in, and people have carpooled on their own in that instance. But that happens during winter break for Pitt, because we are all off, and if there are other riders from UPMC, another business in the city, wherever, we have had them take the van as long as there's an approved backup driver, and they have been able to park the van using the hang tag on the Pitt campus or wherever they needed to park. Obviously you can't park it off campus with the Pitt hang tag, but if you were able to park the van somewhere else, like if you worked, if you had to take it downtown or something, that's different. But like I said, we have never had an instance where there hasn't been really someone to drive the van. That happens very infrequently.
Everyone, I just wanted to elaborate on the one question that Lynn was addressing regarding the 40-minute drive into campus. Pre-pandemic, when the Vanpool program was at its healthiest, we had just examples of the few Vanpools that were available and the people that we're still talking to in order to restart them and set them back up. We had vans that came in from like Zelienople, Cranberry Township. We had vans that came in from New Kensington, Arnold area. We had vans that came in from Monroeville, Irwin, Bell Vernon, Washington, Pennsylvania. So these vans really did come into Oakland from all throughout southwestern Pennsylvania. So if you do sign up on the Commute with Enterprise page by hitting the Join Commute, there is a very good chance that one of the former vans that were already in operation in your area would probably be able to be reestablished.
Do you want me to continue, Eric, with the questions?
Sure.
Okay. So next question, how do people whose schedules are variable deal with carpooling or when someone needs to do something after work until later? I can't speak for carpooling, but with vanpooling, as I said, I've made many friends on the van from my area. So if somebody needed to stay late, sometimes we just worked something out and said, well, I'll stay late with you. Maybe if you have to work late and you want to drive in together, we can go have dinner or whatever. I'll wait for you to get off work. Or I would have my daughter pick me up. Sometimes, a lot of times people will say, oh, my husband's going to just get me tonight. I'm going to work late. The van typically can't wait on something that's been planned. Put it this way, we have never left anyone in Oakland, though, not purposely. I've had to make the block once or twice to pick somebody up that I may have forgotten. But in all seriousness, like if you got caught up, and are 10 or 15 minutes late, or you just couldn't leave your office, they just send us a text and we're like, that's fine, we'll wait for you wherever. As I said, we would never leave anyone in Oakland or wherever, for a ride home. Now, when you're leaving in the morning, it is important to be on time because there are people that have to punch in or, that have to use a time system. So, you know, and in that respect, you do need to be on time. Like, you've got to almost treat it like the Pat bus. Like, you've got to be at the stop, you've got to be in your seat. You know, you can't disrespect other people's, you know, time that they need to be at work. But as you know, as far as doing something after work, it's just kind of up to you to decide like how you want to handle that. Can you get a ride home? There is the Westmoreland, well, in my instance, if we needed to get back to Lake Trove, there is the Westmoreland Transit, the bus, which leaves Oakland, I believe, 2 times a day. That may have changed after post-pandemic, but it is a long ride, but at least, you know, it is another way to get home. Or you can, well, you can't do the emergency ride if, you know, it's not really truly an emergency, but you just try to make arrangements for whatever you need to do.
Okay.
I did see a good question. Oh, do people have to be able to drive, have a license to participate? So again, you do not need a license to be a rider. You do need a valid license and have to be approved to be a driver or a backup driver. And Eric, correct me if I'm wrong, I think you have to be at least 25 years old. Is that correct?
That's correct.
To be a
At least
driver?
25 years old with at least 5 years of driving experience with, I think no more than 3 minor violations in the past 5 years. All
Right.
all the answers to becoming a driver in the frequently asked questions section of the website. So,
Right. And the second part to that question again was, if you're not riding 5 days a week, you know, what if you only need to ride 1 or 2? Again, that's going to depend on the distance that you travel and where you're coming from and what your Vanpool decides on. Like I said, from Lake Trove to Oakland, it's a long way. So, you know, general 2 days pay by the day, 3 days or more pay by the month. But again, that's going to be up to your particular group, because it, you know, it may be cheaper for you to pay for 4 days or whatever, depending on what your monthly cost is.
And there, just to jump in, I can take the next few, Lynn.
Okay.
There are designated parking spaces on campus for this program, and you know, we are looking to be as flexible as possible with the location of these, depending on where the drivers are from. One thing I do want to reiterate, it's really important, is this is not only a PIT program. CMU, UPMC, Chatham, Carlo. I mean, really, the greater Oakland community, if you have people, you know, in your neighborhood or someone that you pass them on the way in, this is not a van that when you get on it, it will be all PIT faculty and staff. There is the possibility that there could be UPMC people on this, or people that work in other areas of Oakland. So please don't feel that you have to find 7 people that work at the University of Pittsburgh to have a Vanpool that works. You can find 7 people in an area or along the way to Oakland to make this work. A lot of the other questions are regards to pricing, and based on the distance, the pricing will vary. Corey will give out her information, which you'll be able to reach out to her. And I believe in the chat, our marketing team has posted the link to our website for commuting. So there is information on there. Any of the key questions from this call, add to the FAQs listed on that page as well.
Yeah, Jonathan, I just shared the contact email for myself. So if anybody has any other questions that weren't answered or wants more information, they can reach out to me through that email. And then, yeah, we will take all of the questions that came in from the Q&A and send those responses to all of the attendees. And then, yeah, like Jonathan said, we'll add any of the, common questions to the FAQ on the website that was shared in the chat.
So thank you for all the people who took part in the call, presenting and listening in to hear about this new program. Feel free to send us over any questions you may have. We really do have confidence that this really can take off here at the university and in the Oakland area, and greatly increase numbers over the next year. So again, thank you for your time. Feel free to reach out with any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.